This is the Less Insurance Dependence podcast show with my good friend Gary Takas and myself, Narain Arul Raja.
We appreciate your listenership, your time, and most of all, we appreciate your intention to reduce insurance dependence in your practice. Our goal is to provide information that will help you successfully reduce insurance dependence and convert your practice into a thriving and profitable dental practice that provides you with personal, professional, and financial satisfaction.
Welcome back to another episode of the Less Insurance Dependence podcast. I'm Lester, your host, and today's episode is a very special one. And if you miss the RIDA Annual Summit this year, don't worry, we got you covered. We're giving you the full breakdown, the insights, the big moments, and the key lessons from more than 4 hours and 15 minutes of content. And joining me is someone who was right there on the stage with speakers, guiding conversations and keeping the energy high. My co-host today is Don. How are you doing, Don?
Hey, Lester. Thanks so much for having me. And yeah, I was real lucky enough to co-host the summit with Naren until the final stretch. It was a packed room full of doctors who want one thing: freedom from PPOs. So the summit gave real tools, real numbers, and very real encouragement. It wasn't just theory. It wasn't just hype. It was a blueprint, very practical and precise.
All right, so let's start with the big theme that came through every speaker, every panel, and every Q&A. Reducing insurance dependence is 100% possible when you follow a system. Not when you guess, not when you panic drop a plan, not when you rely on fear, Facebook threads, or wishful thinking. There needs to be a system.
That's right. That's why dentists showed up. They wanted the truth. And one of the first truth revealed in this was that many practices are working harder and harder, but taking home lesser and lesser. Not because they're bad clinicians, not because patients don't value them, but because PPO write-offs quietly drain around 40 to 55, even in some cases, of their production. And you could feel the room shift when doctors saw the math laid out clearly.
Exactly. And one of the earliest standout speakers was Rebecca. And so we'll go speaker-wise. And Rebecca, she said something that shook people awake. She said, insurance is not your business model. It's a payment option. And she went deeper into this. She explained how most dentists were trained to believe, as you know, they think if I take all PPOs, my schedule stays full. Or if I drop a plan, I'll lose everyone. Or, they have this common thought in mind. My town has too much competition. I can't change anything.
Absolutely. Those beliefs are so common that doctors think that they're facts. But Rebecca really broke it down. She showed practices that calculated their actual write-offs, not estimated, not guessed, actual write-offs. And that's when the fear finally moved aside, right? She said something very powerful that stuck with me. It goes something like, when you replace fear with data, your logical brain turns back on. So that's when, the practice owners begin to see that staying in 20 to 25 or even 30 at times PPO plans is not safety. It's slow financial decline.
Exactly. And then came Jordan Comstock. And if there was one speaker dentist couldn't stop talking about afterward, it was him. Jordan brought the membership plan conversation to life. He gave actual examples, practices with hundreds of active members. They spend over $200,000 to $300,000 a year in recurring revenue. And patients who stay loyal, because they invested that much. So he showed a membership plan can become the buffer when a practice starts dropping PPOs.
Right, Lester. What I loved was how he kept showing creative plan types, not just the typical preventive plan. He talked about unlimited whitening plans. Imagine that. Huh? Perio maintenance plans, Botox membership plans, and pediatric membership tiers. So he explained why all these membership patients buy 2 to 3 times more dentistry because they want to use the benefits they're already paying for. It kind of felt like a light bulb moment, for the entire room at that time.
Exactly. And one of the key highlights is the keynote from Gary Takas was one of the most anticipated sessions. Gary has coached over 400 practices to successfully resign from PPOs. So people were taking notes the second he started, and he listed the 5 mistakes that derail practices. And the 5 mistakes go like this. Mistake 1 is running a transactional practice instead of a relational one. And mistake 2 is not understanding their PPO data. Mistake 3 is dropping PPO plans from having a marketing plan before having a marketing plan. And mistake 4 is undertraining the team. And lastly, it's poor patient communication and messaging. So Gary explained why these are critical mistakes. It isn't about the clinical skill. It's about these mistakes, and there are systems that you could overcome them.
Right. When he said every dollar of write-off is a dollar you paid the insurance company for marketing, the room definitely got a little quiet there. He has helped doctors understand that PPOs are marketing, extremely expensive marketing. And once you stop relying on them, you need to own your engine. But that engine doesn't have to cost anywhere near 45% of your revenue. So it was truly refreshing and grounding.
And the next segment was the clinical panel, which was the hidden has that all kill profits. So then we got into this clinical panel, which I think was one of the most underrated portions. Lisa Copeland talked about communication and leadership. She explained how dental teams often unconsciously send mixed signals to patients, especially when a practice is shifting away from PPOs. So she helped the audience see how important team language is at this point of the conversation.
Right. And Shams talked about billing inefficiencies that most practices don't even know that they're dealing with. She explained how much time and energy gets wasted chasing claims, appealing denials, resubmitting codes, and managing unpaid insurance balances. The practice owners realized, oh, wow, I didn't just lose money on the write off. I lost more money through the admin time dealing with that claim.
Then we heard from Art Wiedemann, the CPA. He showed examples where a practice produced nearly $2 million but collected $1.4 million, not because of anything clinical, but purely due to PPO agreements. It's one thing to know PPOs cost money, it's another to see real numbers from real practices. So these are real life examples from the experts during the summit. And this was the moment many attendees realized this isn't sustainable. I have to make a change.
True. So after the operations talk, the summit kind of shifted into the emotional side of reducing PPO dependence, right? Honestly, that part was powerful because, one speaker explained that when change feels dangerous, the brain's fear center takes over. That's when dentists think, my patients will leave, my staff won't support this, right? My schedule will go empty. So when they actually look at the numbers, though, when they calculate the real write-offs, admin costs, and collections per hour, the fear quiets down and logic comes back. You could feel the energy in the room shift from fear to clarity with that speech.
Yes, and I think the best part was seeing dentists realize that they're not alone. Every dentist in that room has faced the same fear, but fear doesn't build a healthy business. Data does. So I think the next segment is where it's about how you're going to explain how data enlighten everyone during the RIDA Summit.
Absolutely. We got into the marketing portion of the summit at that time, and this is where your world came in, Lester.
Yeah, this is my favorite part because it clears up so much confusion. If everyone asks, is SEO dead? Will AI replace Google? The answer is simple. Google is still king, and it's not even close. Search behavior is evolving. Yes, AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and you name it. There's so much of AI engines going and AI taking all over. So they're real, they matter. Patients use them, but Google still drives most of the discovery and most of the new patient calls. And the summit basically taught three key marketing rules. Rule number one: you need to show up everywhere people look, not just Google's classic links, but like Google Maps, AI overviews, AI mode, ChatGPT, and others. And rule number two is success is measured by calls and booked visits, not traffic. And rule number three is a membership plan plus strong visibility creates stability while dropping PPOs.
Right. And I love how practical that was. It's not hype, it's not buzzwords. It's just simple actions that truly help a practice gets found. And this is the most important point, chosen, right? So the real key takeaway is that marketing is not luxury. It's the engine that lets you step away from PPO dependence without fear.
Exactly. And the final panel during the summit, after you handed hosting back to Narayan, Don, we heard one of the most important topics, and that's patient communication, which is very important in reducing insurance dependence. So Tessina talked about the mindset shift patients need. She said something like, insurance doesn't determine the care. Your dentist does. Insurance just helps pay for part of it. She broke down how team members should explain benefits, limitations, downgrades, and why insurance policies don't match clinical care.
Right. And the funniest moment was when she joked about the insurance company saying, this service covered, just not on a rainy day. I mean, that was pretty funny. And insurance rules often make no sense, but she brought it
Mhm.
back to the heart of it. Teams need to guide patients with confidence and kindness. That's what builds trust. That's what keeps patients who want the best care. And that's what helps a practice step away from PPO control.
Exactly. And now, what did the summit teach us? Here are the big truths. PPO dependency is not a destiny. Write offs are not just math, they are missed opportunities. Membership programs create stability. Team communication determines patients' trust. Marketing fuels independence. Data replaces fear. And finally, doctors don't have to do it alone.
No, they don't. So, this summit truly showed that you don't have to drop all PPOs at once. You don't need to gamble your practice on one big decision. You can do it step by step, guided by data, supported by your team, backed by good marketing, and encouraged by a community that's already done it. That's why events like this matter.
Exactly. And if today's episode inspired you or opened your eyes to that what's possible, take the next step. Book a coaching strategy meeting with Gary. If you're looking for mentorship, if you want help reducing PPO dependence and mentorship, you can go to thrivingdentist.com/CSM, or you can book a marketing strategy meeting with our team at Equa. If you want to grow your visibility or, look how well you're doing in terms of your online visibility, create a steady flow of new patients. Is your website working? You can get a full health report by going to lessinsurance.com/marketing strategy meeting. And if you can also get these links from the show notes if you go to lessinsurancependence.com. And that's basically the the summary of the RIDA Summit. Don, any final words?
Absolutely, Lester. I mean, this summit was special, right? It was special, Lester. It gave doctors and practice owners real hope and real direction. And I hope this episode did the same for our listeners today.
Thank you all for joining us, and we appreciate you. And as always, keep reducing your insurance dependence.